How does a nation of 8 million recover from a genocide that wiped out 2 million? How does a nation rebuild after a generation of educated people were targets of extermination? How does such a nation return to prosperity after decades of exploitation and abuse by regional and world powers? How does this nation create a fair society after decades of mistrust within? Between 1969 and 1973, the U.S. government dropped over 110,000 bombs on Cambodia, even though we were not at war with this country. This event set a chain reaction that destabilized the country, and what followed is still unbelievable, as well as forgotten or unknown to many. Between 1975 to 79, Cambodia was turned upside down. The Khmer Rouge had a grand plan to demolish the social hierarchy of the country. This included killing off the educated, minorities, the wealthy, through forced executions. An estimated 2 million Cambodians, a quarter of the country, died, many from starvation, forced labor, and disease as a result of the Khmer Rouge. Three decades later, Cambodia struggles to be a democracy. In 2008, Amnesty International reported another 150,000 Cambodians were at risk of forced relocation nationwide. Roughly half the country geographically has been affected by land grabbing and forced evictions. The mortality rate for children under 5 remains highest in the region, especially for mothers who have had no schooling. 1 out of every 4th female has never attended school. 30% of the country remains illiterate. 85% of the population lives in rural areas where most families do not have electricity, hygienic toilets, or suitable drinking water. Many children are forced to move to the streets, participate in hazardous labor, and risk appalling sexual exploitation. Meanwhile, a new study found that more than 80% of the people old enough to remember the torture and murder during the Khmer Rouge era say the current trials will only reignite painful memories. These are just a few of the issues that Cambodia faces today. Cambodia today is a country of young people. Close to 40% of the population is under the age of 15. These youngsters, while born into a challenging context, have motivation and hope to make their country a better place. In 2008, the Royal University of Phnom Penh established the first college-level social work program in the country.
Why did you choose social work?
I saw that social work is the subject that can lead me to the solutions.
ក្នុងនាមជាសង្គមការខ្ញុំគិតថាពួកយើងប្រហែលជាមាន challenge ច្រើនដូចយើងនិយាយមែនតែវាមិនប្រកាសថាយើងអត់មានដំណោះស្រាយទេអញ្ចឹងយើងផ្ដល់ជាក្តីសង្ឃឹមឲ្យគាត់ផ្ដល់នូវវិធីដូចជាមធ្យោបាយការជំរុញពីខាងមកយើងធ្វើយ៉ាងណាឲ្យគាត់ឈ្មោះទៅកាន់ក្តីសង្ឃឹមហ្នឹងហើយព្យាយាមអនុវត្តវាយក Community empowerment meant to encourage people to join to decision and to know their power, what is their power. And
I interested in human rights. I see some people, they don't know their right, what they can do and what they can, what they can speak. Another way is social justice. They don't get equality.
This profession really deal directly or supporting those vulnerable population group to empower them to make their own decision, but also to support them to recover from their traumatic experience. បញ្ហាមានច្រើនប៉ុន្តែធនធានមិនតិចហើយធនធានដែលយើងមាននោះដូចខ្ញុំបានចែកម្លែកចឹងពីច្រើនគឺបទពិសោធន៍
ចឹងបងប្អូនទាំងអស់គ្នាមកនោះកាលណាចឹងតែមានជំនួយច្រើនកាន់តែចូលរួមជួយក្នុងការដោះស្រាយបញ្ហានៅសង្គម
ពីមុនយើងអត់ដែលធ្លាប់មានសាលាដែលជាសកលវិទ្យាល័យហើយក្រុមខាងយើងនេះក៏អត់ដែលបានទៅរៀននៅខាងមហាវិទ្យាល័យដើម្បីទទួលបានជាសញ្ញាបត្រទេតែយើងគ្រាន់តែមានវគ្គខ្លីៗដែលយើងអាចមកយើងអាចមានគ្នាទៅវិញទៅមកយើងអាចរៀនយើងអាចធ្វើអ្វីដែលយើងអាចធ្វើទៅបាន
Social Department ដែរបានបង្កើតនៅកម្មវិធីនេះឡើងហើយព្រមទាំងនិស្សិតទាំងពីរនាក់ដែលខិតខំប្រឹងប្រែងធ្វើការជាមួយយើងគាត់ឆ្នាំទី3ហើយមកធ្វើការជាមួយយើងនេះប៉ុន្តែគាត់រៀនចប់ហើយគាត់ទទួលបានទាំងទ្រឹស្ដីហើយទាំងការអនុវត្តផ្ទាល់តាមរយៈគាត់នឹងជួយបានច្រើន
Our partner, they are really impressed with our students regarding to their critical thinking. I mean, they are confident to say, they are confident to speak up, and they said, "Wow." អញ្ចឹងនិស្សិតអាចសួរសំណួរនិងអាចចែករំលែកនៅអ្វីដែលគាត់បានរៀនមកនឹងជាក់ស្ដែងអញ្ចឹងទោះបីជាយើងមើលឃើញបានថាការកម្មសិក្សានេះមានផលប្រយោជន៍ច្រើនចំពោះនិស្សិតប៉ុន្តែក៏វាចូលរួមចំណែកដែលអង្គការឬមួយក៏បុគ្គលិកសង្គមឬសហគមន៍អាចរៀនពីគ្នាទៅវិញទៅមកដែរដំបូងខ្ញុំពិតជាមិនដឹងទេថាមុខជាសង្គមកាត់នឹងមានអត្ថន័យឬក៏មានគោលដៅយ៉ាងណាប៉ុន្តែនៅពេលដែលខ្ញុំបានរៀនដល់ចំណុចទាំងនេះខ្ញុំពិតជាបានយល់ច្បាស់ពីការងារសង្គមកាត់នឹងការងារសង្គមកាត់នឹងគឺជួយខាងគ្រប់គ្រងដល់ជនរងគ្រោះមែនទែនជាពិសេសជនដែលងាយនឹងទទួលភាពអវិជ្ជមានពីសង្គម
Instead of asking for help, and then she said, you know, teacher, by going to the placement, I now know that working with the diverse groups, you know, we have to listen more and understand the differences. So this really amazed me, you know, she used to always come and ask for help, and then, but going to the placement, and then she came up to me and talked, which really inspired me. ប្រទេសយើងនឹងយ៉ាងណាអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំធ្វើការកន្លងមកនេះបាន20ឆ្នាំជាងហើយខ្ញុំមិនដឹងថាខ្ញុំនឹងអាចធ្វើការបានប្រហែលឆ្នាំទៀតទេ
It's beauty to see how they change. I taught in first year and then now I'm teaching third years. It's so much change that to see the student first they're just sitting and then following instructions. Whereas in this third year I'm seeing them that come on, what is this question? What do you mean by this? That made me feel like wow. Within these 3 years, they change and change in the track that we expect them to be changed.
They are very motivated and enthusiastic, you know, and optimistic for the future of Cambodia. So I think they are the future of Cambodia. They are the light for the next generation in transforming social unjust, you know, in Cambodia in the future. And to be honest, I'm very proud to teach such motivated and you know, optimistic team.
ចឹងសរុបទៅការបណ្ដុះបណ្ដាលធនធានបងប្អូនដែលយើងមាននោះពិតជាមានប្រយោជន៍ហើយខ្ញុំចង់និយាយពាក្យយ៉ាងខ្លីថាគាត់នឹងគឺជាទំពាំងស្នូលទុស័យខ្ញុំសម្បានហើយខ្ញុំក៏ចង់ខ្លាយចឹងណាខ្ញុំក្នុងខ្លួនថាខ្លួនខ្ញុំនឹងខ្លាយជាអ្នកសង្គមកិច្ចម្នាក់ដ៏មានជំនាញនិងមានសមត្ថភាពហើយប្រកបដោយវិជ្ជាជីវៈទៀតសម្រាប់ខ្ញុំវិញទោះបីជាខ្ញុំជាសិស្សឆ្នាំទី1ក៏ដោយតែខ្ញុំមានឆន្ទៈថាខ្ញុំអាចដោះស្រាយបញ្ហារបស់បានទៅថ្ងៃអនាគត I choose social work because I think that I want to be a change agent. I think we have to be brave, to be confident, to change something that's not good.
The Social Work Department welcomes the first graduating class of social work students in Cambodia in the spring of 2012. They are the future of Cambodia. The Social Work Department continues to operate with limited support from the government. Financial support is critical to keep the doors open for this essential degree program. Individual donors have been key to establishing the program and keeping it running. Your financial contribution now will make a significant difference. $25, for example, will bring a guest speaker into the classroom to share about their work focused on pressing issues in Cambodia. $50 will pay for student orientation to welcome new students to the department and to make sure they get off to a positive start. $100 buys a much-needed textbook for the department. $300 supports 1 month's salary for a faculty member. For $800, you can support the cost of educating one social work student for a year. Please consider making a donation today to help this important program continue. Information where you can make an online tax-deductible contribution or where checks can be mailed will be provided on the last page. Akunjaran, or thank you for becoming a partner for social change in Cambodia.